Now, just to fess up from the beginning, I owe this video to a tweet from a Twitter account called Culture Tutor. Check them out. So what this account did is it released a number of pictures of schools side by side with a number of pictures of prisons. And it asked people to check or to guess which were the schools and which were the prisons. Let's see if you can. Now, the fact that you can't tell which are the schools and which are the prisons is quite shocking. I did a video called Prisoners of Dyslexia, where I showed that there is a direct pipeline from school to prison. And where people feel that they're in prison, often schools don't only look like prisons, they feel like prisons, and they can form the pipeline to prison. But where schools look and feel like prisons, it's not an optimal learning environment. In fact, if you look, a lot of these schools seem to have barbed wire around them, just like a prison might. In 2016, RIBA, the Royal Institute for British Architects, released a report called Better Spaces for Learning, in which they reported that only 5% of the 60,000 schools in Britain were operating efficiently. This is the built environment of where we learn. It turns out that 1 in 5 teachers, that's 20% of teachers, had considered quitting because of the dilapidated state of the learning environments, the built environments. In other words, the schools in which they work. That's 1 in 5 teachers, 20% of the teachers had considered quitting because of the architecture in which they live. 90% of teachers believed that the built environment, the architecture, the schools, had an effect on learning and learning outcomes. 90%, in fact, it was over 90% of teachers that believed that the schools had an effect on learning outcomes. So what are we doing? Why are we building schools like this? Why are we creating learning environments that still feel like prisons or factories or warehouses, where we're essentially treating the children like prisoners or treating the children like products or at best factory workers? Why are we doing this? It turns out that we don't have to, and that school architecture can be beautiful. It can be invigorating. It can be enlivening. The built architecture in which we have our children is not a keep. It's not a prison. We need to be aware that where we create a learning environment is not just the people, it's the places. And until we understand that, we're going to be damaging the learning potential of all our children.